Hey fam, welcome to Babbling Tat. As always, I want to start off by saying thank you for being here. Wherever you are and whatever you're doing right now, thank you for choosing to spend this time with me. Today, we're diving into a topic that's been hitting me a little hard and heavy lately. Something that I know that a lot of us struggle with as well. Having the audacity to take up space. And I'm calling it audacity because, let's be real, for some of us, it feels like a straight up act of rebellion to believe that we deserve to be seen, heard, valued, and even taken seriously. Especially when we've been told by society, by people in the past, maybe even by our own damn selves, that we should be quieter, smaller, easier to handle. But you know what? That's bullshit. You deserve to take up space. And today, we're going to talk about exactly what that means, why it's so damn hard, and most importantly, how to start stepping into that bold, audacious energy. Okay, so when I say taking up space, I don't just mean standing in the middle of your room with your arms spread like Leonardo DiCaprio screaming, "I'm king of the world!" Although, honestly, if that's your vibe, you do you, boo. What I mean, though, is physically owning your presence. Not shrinking yourself in conversations, slouching, or making yourself smaller to avoid attention. Emotionally and mentally taking up space. Allowing yourself to have opinions, needs, and boundaries without feeling like you need to apologize for having them. You are human too. Creatively and professionally taking space. Sharing your work, your art, your voice, and not second guessing your worth. You are worthy, right here, right now, exactly as you are. Taking up space is about believing you have a right to exist loudly and fully, as you do. It's about knowing that you don't need permission to be who you are, right? We talked about writing your own permission slips. You are the only one that can write those permission slips. But let's talk about why this is so hard, because if taking up space were easy, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. For a lot of us, we've been essentially trained, whether directly or indirectly, to believe that we should shrink ourselves. Maybe you grew up hearing things like, "You're so dramatic." Maybe you were the kid in school who never raised their hand because you didn't want to get the answer wrong. Maybe you learned that blending in was safer than standing out, and becoming a chameleon was just... Maybe you were always the one who had to be the strong one for everyone else, so put yourself last. And let's be real, society has literally taught us to be less so that others can be more. Make it make sense. Because you know what? Fuck that. That version of you that shrinks, that apologizes for existing, that hesitates before speaking because you're afraid of being too much, that version isn't the real you. That's just a version of you that was taught to play small. And we're done with that version. Like in last episode, right? How we talked about those masks and those versions that they served a purpose and that we are letting them go because we are owning our true selves. Concept. That version of us drinking and being small served a purpose, whatever it may be. And now we are done with that. We are walking into our true, authentic selves and having the audacity to take up the space we deserve to be. So, how do we start flipping the script? How do we go from "I don't want to take up too much space" to "I deserve to be here fully and unapologetically"? To start, I want you to take a moment and do something with me. Take a deep breath. Like, seriously. Inhale. Hold it. Exhale. I'll say this out loud. I am allowed to take up space. I am worthy of being seen and heard. I do not need permission to exist fully. I know this might feel silly at first, but our brains are wired to believe what we repeat. So if we keep telling ourselves we're too much or not enough, we will legitimately start to believe it. But What if we start affirming our worth? That is where that shift begins. And speaking of shifts, let's get you into some actual steps to get to shifting that you can start to embody this energy into your life. Fix your posture, fix your energy. Stand up straight, shoulders back, chin up, crown up high. When you walk into a room, own it. You belong there. Period. Practice speaking up. Now, I know it'll feel weird and scary and terrifying. Honestly, I started with this by speaking up to myself in the mirror, literally talking to myself. When I had an idea, I wanted to share something out loud, I said it to myself in the mirror. I started really small with myself. Then I extended that outward into my life. And it got more okay and easier in my brain to allow myself to say those things, take up the space to say those things, to allow my thoughts have the space that they equally deserve. Stop apologizing for existing. No more sorry to bother you. No more this might be dumb, but sounds probably my frequently used. Say what you mean with confidence. Got it. Take up digital space too. Post the damn thing, share your story, promote your work without downplaying it. You are unique. Your project is unique. What you bring to the world is unique. Your light is unique. It is you. I'm sure you're probably maybe getting sick and tired of it by now, but no one is youer than you. Own it. Reclaim your boundaries. Say no. No in itself is a whole sentence. Like, whole last sentence. Protect your energy. Let people adjust to the fact that you are no longer bending to their comfort. Our people-pleasing era is behind us. And I won't lie to you. When you start taking your space back, when you start taking up space, some people aren't going to like it. They're going to be uncomfortable because they were used to the version of you that was easier to digest. People-pleaser version of you. Whatever previous version you were to them, you are no longer that. That's not a you problem. That's a them problem. You are not responsible for making other people comfortable with your existence. You are responsible for being yourself. Fully, completely, without apology. So, here's my challenge for you this week. Do one thing today that takes up space. Say the thing, post the thing, hold your head higher, take up physical, emotional, or digital space in some way that feels a little bit bold to you. And if you do, tag me. I want to hype you up. I want to be right there and cheer you along. We are done shrinking. We are done waiting for permission. We are signing our own goddamn permission slips, or just shredding them all up all together, giving yourself a blanket permission slip to live and to be. The audacity to take up space starts now. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. If you enjoyed this episode, it would mean the world to me if you shared it with a friend or shared it on your socials and tagged me in the show. Connect with the podcast directly on Instagram at Babbling Tat Podcast, or connect with me at xxtatqueenxx. You can also visit the website, tatscorner.com, for more resources, info about P3, shop RDC, read the blog, join the community, or just to stay connected. The link is down in the description. Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe. Thank you again for tuning in.